Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the official groundbreaking for the Jeremiah W. J. Nixon Hall, a building that's destined to become one of the premier science facilities on Missouri Southern State University campus, or anywhere in Missouri for that matter. We feel special excitement on a day when ground is broken for a new building because it marks a time when the thinking about it stage stops and the real work starts. But before we start a celebration today, there are a few folks in the audience I'd like to recognize. First, I'd like to pay tribute to all the elected officials out there. So if you're an elected official, city, county, local, please stand up for a second. Let us recognize you. Thank you for what you do. I would also like to recognize the Missouri Southern Board of Governors. So I know we have many of you, maybe everyone here. So if you'd please stand up, let's give you a round of applause. Thank you very much. You know, without their tireless work and dedication, we wouldn't be here today. They do a great job. And finally, most importantly, I'd like to express my personal gratitude to Governor Nixon for a successful bipartisan effort to acquire more than $16 million for this project, because we most certainly wouldn't be here right now without your support. We are deeply grateful. Governor, thank you very, very much. Excuse me. You know, many people had a hand in the development of Nixon Hall design and construction plan. Faculty and staff, architects, builders, students and supporters, they've all been involved in planning this new facility, as well as ongoing renovations to Reynolds Hall. So thanks to each of you for the role you play every day in making Missouri Southern the university of choice within the region. This new building, which will be located just south of Reynolds Hall and connected by a skywalk, will supplement and enhance the renovation work happening right now in Reynolds Hall itself. Together, these two facilities will provide our students the first-class learning environment that they need to pursue careers in virtually any STEM-related field of work. So today, we're not merely turning dirt for a new campus building. Rather, we're helping create an incredible future opportunities for our terrific students. During Missouri Southern's history, many governors have presided over our state, but only two have been honored by having a building with a name on it. The first was Warren Hearns back in the mid-1960s. He was in office when the campus was created, and he was indeed an avid supporter. The second is Governor Jeremiah W. J. Nixon. These two men, separated by 50 years in their administrations, have a lot in common. Like Governor Hearns, Governor Nixon always has shown himself able to rise above partisanship to get the job done. Governor Nixon has always been ready, willing, and able to reach across the aisle for the higher purpose of moving our state forward. And like Governor Hearns, he's been a consistent friend and supporter of higher education in general, and Missouri Southern in particular, and for that we are eternally grateful, Governor. Thank you. But Jay Nixon is no stranger to this campus. Back in 2011, after the devastating tornado, he was here nearly every day, making sure the people of Joplin got what they needed to recover. Over a year ago, we again welcomed the governor to our campus to visit the facilities of our math and science students were using. He immediately recognized that you can't train 21st century medical and other STEM-related professionals in outdated labs and classrooms. So Governor Nixon, Senator Richard, and all of our local delegation chose not to mark time, but to join together and act. And this new building comes at a momentous time in our history. We're growing, and great things are happening at this university. And it's no exaggeration to say that much of this could not have been accomplished without the consistent efforts of Governor Nixon. So Governor, on behalf of the students, faculty, and staff and administration of Missouri Southern, we sincerely thank you. We're privileged to have you on our campus today, and we are all honored to call our newest facility the Jeremiah W. J. Nixon Hall. At this point, I'd like to introduce a man who's been working on behalf of our great city for quite some time. Mike Seibert is a Missouri Southern alumnus, a longtime city council member, and since 2014 has served as mayor. In addition to serving as mayor, he also sits on the executive board of the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce and the Joplin Regional Prosperity Initiative. Mayor Seibert also serves as chair of the Joplin Police and Fire Pension Board. And since the tornado in 2011, Mayor Seibert has been focusing on recovery challenges and economic development within the city. Mayor Seibert and the citizens of Joplin have a goal to be known not for the disaster that devastated the community, but to be recognized as a model of recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Joplin Mayor Mike Seibert.
Well, good morning. When I was on campus in the late 70s and it was the last week of November and the first week of December, this was appropriate winter apparel. I don't know what happened today. I guess I checked the app from the late 70s because I really don't need this coat. But anyway, it's fitting just to be up here on campus and to see all the changes. It's just amazing. But we're here today for another reason. We are here to recognize someone who we are very, very proud to welcome to Joplin. He is a very well-known official in our community, and many of our citizens have had the privilege to meet him during his tireless work in Joplin following the 2011 tornado. As you may recall, Governor Nixon provided assistance through state resources that provided a critical recovery in our rebuilding. From day one, he committed state resources in assisting us in our rescue and recovery following the disaster. And his words became action as the Missouri National Guard was on the scene within hours of the tornado. More than 400 guardsmen were here to serve our city throughout the mission. Serving with them were hundreds of Missouri law enforcement agencies and fire and rescue services. Citizens were relieved when Governor Nixon activated satellite offices for many state agencies to meet the needs of those affected by this great disaster. His staff worked with citizens to replace important documents that were lost in the tornado. Driver's licenses, birth certificates, and other vital records. You can't do much without documentation, as we all well know, and they provided this to so many, many of our citizens who lost so much. Other state agencies worked alongside the city and county staff to ensure the well-being of our citizens were being met. From tetanus shots, mental health resources, walk-in clinics, he made sure the health of those affected were his top priority. As our city was cleared of its debris, citizens had opportunities for housing resources through his leadership. He even launched a governor's challenge to build 35 homes through the Joplin Area Habitat for Humanity. Bringing together 7 major sport affiliations in Missouri, he created a spark that kept the home fires burning, so to speak. 35 families were welcomed into new homes throughout that challenge, and thousands of volunteers were inspired to work with their sports heroes and give back to their community. His allegiance to education was also evident throughout the recovery. He pledged state resources to work with our local officials in order to open schools on time. Recently, Governor Nixon announced a $5 million funding for the new Early Childhood Development Center, joining the city of Joplin's commitment to an additional $5 million to this great project. Throughout all of this, he put people to work with the Missouri Disaster Recovery Jobs Program and provided economic development incentives to drive our business economy during the recovery, making Joplin stronger than it was before May 2011. Today, we have the great privilege of recognizing Governor Jay Nixon for his service and his leadership to Joplin during our darkest hours. On behalf of the city, I would like to personally thank Governor Nixon for his commitment to this great community. With his direction, our community received so much, not only through resources, but through actions of service that he demonstrated to how to serve his fellow man. Governor Nixon, you will always be an important part of our community.
Thank you for your thoughtful comments, Mayor, and thank you for being such a great partner with Missouri Southern. Another important person who has played an integral role in the legislation benefiting this university is Missouri Senator Ron Richard. He currently serves as President Pro Tem of the Missouri Senate. He was first elected to the House of Representatives in 2002, was chosen Speaker of the House in 2008. In 2010, he was elected to the Senate, and 2 years later, he was selected as Majority Floor Leader. Senator Richard is the first person in Missouri history to serve as both Speaker of the House and President Pro Tem of the Senate, and that's pretty remarkable, frankly. Often when he comes to campus, he will just have one simple thing to say: what do you need? And that's the kind of leader he is. He's a man of action. So ladies and gentlemen, another great friend of Missouri Southern and another Missouri Southern alumnus, Senator Ron Richard.
Thank you very much for those kind words. I have great respect for Governor Nixon. We started together when I was in the Speaker of the House and when he was governor. And we worked together on many projects around the state of Missouri, but I think his love as well as mine is economic development, job creation, and education. And he and I worked on many projects. We went to the veto session one year and expanded the Ford plant in Kansas City. We worked on a Boeing project, which all these two projects has implications in Southwest Missouri because vendors from Liggett and Platt and others do wire harnesses and other things with these companies. We did Wentzville, which is a GM plant. But he was always eager and ready to strike a deal. And when I visited with him about the medical school he was aware of and the problem with this building and the additions we need to do to get ready for the medical school, after he looked at it, he knew that there was something that needed to happen to this building and get these kids trained for the next generation of STEM students in math and science. And we were visiting one day on a number of things, and I had mentioned that we were short a little bit of money on this project, tune of about $18 million. And he and I came up with a plan, and we shook hands on it, and that was the deal. Then we went to Tom Flanagan and said, Tom, we've got a deal now. The budget starts with you. We need you to help with this. And Tom did one of them things, scratching his head, but he was a great partner and came through. And if it hadn't been for Tom Flanagan, this wouldn't have happened. So Tom, thanks for your help. When I appointed him as Speaker to the Budget Committee, I knew where you put you in the right spot, and that paid a lot of dividends for Southwest Missouri. But the greatest compliment I can give anybody in the state capitol is that when they give you your word and they shake your hand, they keep their word. Governor Nixon always did that with me, and I treasure that. Patty and I were lucky enough to travel with him a couple of times, and one of the best occasions, we were at NATO headquarters, and the governor was talking to the NATO general, and I was walking ahead talking to another general, and they were asking me if I was going to give a speech. And I said, no, why would you say that? Well, as governor, I said, no, you better see the guy back there with the other general. That's the governor. Apparently, we look alike from time to time, which I'll take that as a compliment, too. But we went to Normandy, too, and the governor laid a wreath, and I was happy to help. I mean, if you'd never been to Normandy, what a great spot, how they respect our veterans and the cemeteries there. But on to Governor Nixon. Again, without his leadership, without his keeping his word and that handshake in his office, he keeps his word, and Governor, thank you for that.
Thank you, Senator Richard. You and Patty are very special. Sometimes people ask me why and how it is I get along so well with Ron Richard. And I said the rules are relatively simple. He's very clear on what he wants, and you better not kind of agree to it, because that's an agreement. You better have a handshake so that both of you know that magic moment when you actually do agree. Because we negotiate a lot before we shake hands, okay? That's not, the first meeting is not shaking hands. I just want to say, Ron, the compliment that you gave me, the high compliment you just gave to me, is also shared not only by me for you, but also to all these members and everyone that has interacted with you in your years of public service. You're a person whose integrity matters, your word matters, and that's why you get things done. And it's been an honor to serve with you and I appreciate the many stories that I will have that in 42 days I'll be able to begin telling in a positive way. I want to thank Representative Flanagan, Davis, Kelly, White, Representative-elect Smith with us, Mayor Seibert, President Marble, everybody here today. This university is a strong anchor of academic excellence for this region and a source of strength for a community that has inspired me, quite frankly, has inspired the world. I told some folks up here a minute ago, I just came back, we were in Dubai, and one of the reasons I was there is not only are we selling F-150s, which they just went over 5,000 made in Kansas City on the deal that Ron, Richard, and I and a number of folks here did. But I was to thank personally Sheik that gave the dollars for the computers for the kids in school, as well as the dollars to help with St. Mary's. And he wanted me to send my best to y'all, and so I gave him Dr. Marble's phone number in case there's anything else that needs to get handled. But that was halfway across the world, this community inspired folks. Certain things you do in this job become a part of who you are. Not just a memory, but a movement of how you see the world. On May 20th, 2011, I was in the gym at Missouri Southern giving a graduation speech. And I love to give graduation speeches because everybody is in an incredibly good mood. And no matter what you say, they don't listen to you. So you can say what you want and everybody claps and they're glad when you're done. But just to draw in that spirit of people using the skills and talents they have to improve themselves in the best possible way you can in our society by getting more educated and stronger is something that has always inspired me. Unfortunately, 36 hours later, I was back in that exact same gym. And I stood at the exact same place where I had made that graduation speech and shook hands with those graduates. And what I looked out on was 467 cots, a hospital, in essence, that the Red Cross had opened. And then I walked to the dorms where already the first responders from around the country were coming in and spending their off shifts there. And then we met right over here on that Wednesday evening with all the pastors of the community. On Thursday night, right over here, we had the town hall meeting where thousands of folks showed up, and we brought with us the ability to make licenses and get your insurance things worked out. This very building right over here is where 180,000 people through AmeriCorps checked in and became volunteers from all 50 states of the United States. Throughout that response and recovery, the people of Joplin rallied around education, the commitment to rebuild elementary and middle schools and high schools, to start school on time. But this university was a pillar of strength. And it was the place, as we see today, 5 years later. Population up, unemployment down, record enrollment at this university, record enrollment, and another milestone for this university and this community with the small little process we're going through here today. Missouri Southern was extremely important during that entire process and incredibly helpful to us all. I cannot think of anything that was asked that they failed to move forward aggressively on. One of my great memories was walking through the dorm right over here on the second day. As I walked past the room, I looked in the room, and there was a firefighter asleep on the floor and a dog asleep in the bed. And so I walked in, and the firefighter looked up, and I said, "You're on the floor, and he's in the bed." And he said, "The dog has a lot more training and is a lot more valuable than me." Okay. And the dog got his rest and got back out and did his work. But this project today is a shining example of this university's commitment and our state's commitment to preparing students for success in a rapidly changing global economy. Today, the competition for jobs of the future is global, and it will be won by the states and nations with the most skilled, most creative, and best educated students. As governor, I've said this many times, but I repeat it because it's true. Education is the best economic development tool there is. But when I took office, the cost of college was skyrocketing, squeezing working families and leaving students with mountains of unsustainable debt. So we did what Missourians always do. We rolled up our sleeves and got to work building a better Missouri for students and families. We started at the high school level by increasing funding for our scholarship programs and expanding Missouri's A-plus schools program statewide, adding more than 250 schools to that A-plus, now available in 99% of our public high schools throughout the state. We increased the maximum award for Access Missouri scholarships by nearly 25% for students at four-year institutions just like this one. And we provided record funding for higher education in Missouri, helping to keep the Show Me State #1 in the nation in holding down tuition increases at public universities over the past 7 years. That means this year alone, every Missouri undergraduate is saving almost $1,800 compared to what they would be paying in the Show Me State had mirrored the national trend on tuition. But we didn't give up quality at the same time. We made the investments, we supported, we did the mission changes to make sure that we were getting a better product, but not offloading that cost to the next generation. Our focus on affordability has led a surge in college completion in our state. Last year, more than 50,000 students earned a degree from one of our public institutions. That is up 36% since the year I took office. A 36% increase in four-year college graduates. It's a stunning number. At the two-year level, we're up 44%. When you look at those numbers writ large as a state, tens of thousands of people that otherwise would not have had the best ally you can have in a job interview or a career opportunity, education and a degree, a completed education, so that you begin the next part of your career. But we didn't stop there. We made a commitment not only to make college more affordable, but we made a commitment to making it better, more rigorous, with more technology, state-of-the-art facilities, and greater access to training in high-tech fields. That's why we implemented performance funding, so that the amount of funding our colleges and universities receive is based on the outcome those students get. We launched strategic initiatives like Caring for Missourians, leveraging more than $100 million to help meet the need for skilled professionals in fields like healthcare and advanced manufacturing. And last year, we brought Republicans and Democrats together to pass Building Affordability, the most significant state bonding investment in higher education in more than 2 decades. Building Affordability is putting $200 million to work right now on college campuses throughout the state, including the more than $16 million right here at Missouri Southern. With a major renovation of Reynolds Halls and a new 20,000 square foot building focused on STEM subjects, this historic investment will expand Missouri Southern's capacity to prepare students for good, high-paying jobs and strengthen this region's economy for years to come. These are all tremendous achievements, made possible thanks to the work of those, many of who are here today, who have dedicated their careers to public service and higher education. And once again, I want to thank President Marble, Senator Richard, members of the General Assembly, who worked in a bipartisan way to make this meaningful, forward-looking investment in the future of this university and this region. Now, it's a great honor to have a building named after you, but the only thing that I really got focused on is I didn't want like a Mark Twain, like the rumors of my death are exaggerated. So the only thing I said was you can't make it like Nixon Memorial Hall, okay? I've got some game left. It's not going to be doing what I'm doing. But I just really deeply appreciate having this example rise here as part of something that I've worked on my entire public career and the First Lady and I feel so deeply, deeply about. Today, the missions of higher education institutions like this one are more important than ever before. Now more than ever, we need leaders who are thoughtful problem solvers, who bring facts to the table, who can think critically and independently, who get graded and or compete, who are compassionate, who, amazingly enough, think before they speak, and who take responsibility for what they say and what they do. That's what happens on this college campus every single day. The teachers, the professors, the administrators, and others that work here demand that, and it molds those students for their futures. Leaders like those are being cultivated right here at Missouri Southern. In closing, I know that many years from now, though my name is on the building, the students within it may not remember much about Missouri's 55th governor. But I also know this: they will never forget their education. They will never forget the inspiration from their teachers and the empowerment they gained right here as proud lions of Missouri Southern. And for my part, I know I will never, ever forget the lessons I learned from you, the people of Joplin. Lessons about community, faith, and the enduring power of hope. So in conclusion, one of those moments I'll never forget that I think took me to a deeper understanding of our state and myself at the same time was at the memorial service here when everyone prayed together as a community, all denominations, everyone calling on a higher power to help us get to a place we knew was going to be tough to get to. This community has never backed away from its values, its faith, its inner strength. And these days, those criteria and capabilities are incredibly important. So thank you personally, once again, for this tremendous honor. And I will feel very good about the fact that I know that this building will train hundreds, if not thousands, of young folks who may never know me, but will yield a better life because of it, because they chose to come to Missouri Southern and take the challenging coursework that's here to lead this region, this state, and our country forward. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Governor, for those kind words and for the leadership and support that you've shown, and for traveling here today to be part of this. We're honored to be naming this new facility for you. This time, I'd like to invite some individuals forward to take part in the groundbreaking. Actually, we're going to do it in 2 shifts because we have several people. First, Governor Nixon, Senator Richard, Missouri Southern Board Chair Mitch McCumber. If you'd come forward, Mayor Seibert, Faculty Senate President Brad Kramer, Staff Senate President Chris Owens, and Student Senate President Amanda Gardner. Would you all please come forward and we'll turn a little dirt. This time I'd like to invite another very important group of individuals to break ground as well. Board of Governors members Bill Gibson, Mike Franks, Jim Flyshaker, Allison Hershaway, Tracy Flanagan, Anita Plotnick, Provost Dr. Paula Carson, Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences Dr. Richard Miller, Chair of the Department of Biology and Environmental Health Dr. Vicki Rutger. Got some more. Chair of the Department of Chemical and Physical Sciences, Dr. Marcy Archer. Chair of the Department of Mathematics, Dr. Carrie Johnson. Mr. Brad Irwin of Paragon Architecture. And Mr. Kirk Crossland with Crossland Construction. Where's Brad? Oh, yeah, Brad Irwin of Paragon. There we go. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this momentous event. Please join us for tours of the renovations of Reynolds Hall and for refreshments. And remember, this is just another great day to be a Lion. Go Lions.